Hi, I'm Maria Thea Harris of Fellow Sews on social media. Welcome back to SewOver50 podcast on Sew Organised Style. Judith Staley and Sandy Back are here today to celebrate the 50,000 follower milestone reached by SewOver50 on their 6th birthday this weekend. Thanks for joining us.
The message we need to get out is that even if you just do a like, it's telling Instagram that you're interested in this account. The best way to keep going with any accounts, not just us, is doing a like, a share, or a comment.
A big thank you to the podcast Patreon supporters. I hope you'll join them. Go to patreon.com/seworganised-style. That's organised with an S to join them in supporting the running of Sew Organised Style podcast. Today we've got Judith and Sandy here to celebrate. Morning, Sandy and Judith.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good evening.
We've got a set of questions to talk about what it's like for SewOver50 now as compared to when we first started in August 2018 on the 18th of August. Now, have I got my facts correct, Judith?
That's correct. Yeah, it was the 18th, wasn't it? 18th of August 2018. It was a Saturday, I think. I remember sitting at my kitchen worktop, working everything out on that day.
And making up a logo.
Yeah, making up a logo, finding out how to do various things, saying to my husband, I think I'm going to start this account of SewOver50. And he sort of didn't know what I was talking about. But yeah, that's when it was.
That was a momentous step over a cuppa.
It was.
I've got some questions here that I'm hoping listeners will enjoy hearing Judith and Sandy's answers. So the first one is, what does another great SewOver50 year feel like for both of you? Judith, do you want to go first?
It's just incredible when Sandy said, we're coming up to our 6th birthday. I sort of wasn't thinking about that. I'm not as involved in a day-to-day basis now, and all the other people who do all the work. So you're much more aware of what's going on, but it's just great. It is still going. I'm so pleased that all you have carrying on with it. So it's just fantastic. We're still here.
We're still standing.
Yeah.
Sandy, what does it feel like for you? Another great SewOver50 year.
I'm still excited about it. I think that it's been a very busy year. It's always lots of coordination behind the scenes and lots of work. But fortunately, we have editorial teams now changing about, so the workload is lesser for everyone. As I say, it's exciting. We're always coming up with something for ideas, and that's because of our community. We really appreciate people who tag us so that we have permission then to use their ideas, and we'll chat with them. And we're always just looking for a variety, and the community is never short of that. So we're very lucky.
Oh, true.
As a team member, Sandy, you do so much behind the scenes, getting us organised every month and every week. So thank you for doing that.
What I'd like to say is that Judith, although is not active on a day-to-day basis, we are still in constant contact, and Judith is my mentor, and I will flick things through to her in the middle of even my night when I wake up and think about it, just for a quick consultation and just for affirmation that I'm on the right track with something and getting feedback. So I'm always deeply appreciative of Judith's input.
And likewise, it's just what you do, Sandy, so much work. And you still keep coming up with ideas as you and some other editors coming up with ideas for these celebrations around this week.
I love coming up with new ideas. I like the one that's coming up this week for the competition. And when this goes out, we'll already be in the middle of it. So I hope it excites everyone. It's just a very quick one, and it just requires a comment. So, yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah, I think it will.
Okay, I did some research. A 6-year anniversary, traditional gifts are iron, modern are wood, and gemstone is amethyst. Judith and Sandy, which of those anniversary gifts would you prefer?
It might sound boring, but I like wood. I just love nature. I just love the feel of wood. And I'm not a very gemstone person. And iron, well, I've got my iron for my sewing. That's as much iron as I need, I think. What about you, Sandy?
Well, actually, you picked my little idea because I'd like an iron, but I want the one where you have it on the ironing board, where you put it down, you can leave it down. It's got these little legs that stand up when you're not using it.
Oh, yeah.
They're fantastic. I went to a sewing class and they had them, and I was just absolutely intrigued with these irons. Not the iron you're probably expecting, Maria, but yes, that one.
The key thing here is that people who are listening will understand why we're so sewing focused. So if someone says iron, it's the iron.
Yeah, that's right.
So
That's my
funny.
immediate thought.
The other thing I saw was 6-year colours are purple, white, and turquoise.
They're colours I probably wouldn't choose for myself. I like purple but never wear it.
I like purple but never wear it. It's funny, isn't it? I do like purple,
Yes.
but I do like blue, so turquoise.
I don't wear white. Turquoise I wouldn't even think of, to be
No.
quite honest. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bit sort of like Wimbledon colours.
Yeah. It is purple, green, and white. Yeah.
Purple, green, or women's colours. Yeah.
Other women's colours. Yeah.
That's what it should be.
Yeah.
I always think about a white blouse when you go to dinner, but if you go to an Italian restaurant and you're having spaghetti, white blouse is the wrong thing to wear. So look, going back to the account, what has struck you as most different recently? I think, Sandy, would you be in the best position to answer this question?
From an Instagram point of view, of course, the biggest thing that's happened is the hashtags now, and it's maintaining the reach within the community. And it's not just us. It's a continual struggle to keep us in people's sights on the grid. And that's the biggest trouble. And that's why we have had to instigate a monthly tag, which now we've gone over to this month. It's SewOver50, August 24. And of course, every variety of tag other than that. We go and check all the other varieties as well. And we are constantly trying to keep up. But one of the things that I think is happening, and no one really talks about this, we don't see everybody because I don't think Instagram puts them all there. When we go back a few days later, someone will pop up that we haven't noticed before. So that's the biggest changes within Instagram. The message we need to get out is that even if you just do a like, it's telling Instagram that you're interested in this account. The best way to keep going with any accounts, not just us, is doing a like, a share, or a comment. One of the other things is touching the bell on someone's page to let them know that they've posted. You can fine-tune that by just saying you want to see a post, you don't want to see their videos or reels, and you can stop that any time. So if you know something is coming up, like a new pattern release from a company, turn on the notification. Once it's released, turn it off. The other thing is you can also go to the top of your page and hit the word Instagram, and you can put your feed into chronological order by using that, following all people you follow on that. There's ways to get around it, but it is an ongoing issue that Instagram is not listening to.
They're not listening, are they?
Chronological order was fantastic.
Yeah.
When you look at hashtags, you could see the recent sewing makes. Now you might get 2018 at the top. For us, when we're researching our posts, we don't want older posts. If we do, we then have to write to people and say, look, you did this in 2018. Would you mind? I wouldn't ever go back that far, but that's just one of the issues we face as editors now.
Yeah, it's very hard.
Have you seen an increase of older sewists on the grids of sewing pattern Instagram grids?
Yeah, big change from when we started, isn't it?
Yep.
It's very different. There were so very few when we started, which is why we did the visible challenge. Whether it's partly us being here and pushing for it, or I think there's been a change about inclusion and diversity across the board. You know, we're seeing other accounts like Ageism is Never in Style. That's that sort of account that are that are pushing for things in the media. So we have had an impact, but it's joined with other things that are going on.
Generally, diversity is now at the front agenda of a lot of agencies, pattern companies, etc. Size was the biggest wave that came through, and ethnicity, and we lagged along as being recognised as maturer models. That's evolving, and we've seen an awful lot more. I think when we did that SewOver50 Visible Challenge, we struggled to find a make that we actually wanted to sew.
Yeah.
But we joined in because we were waving the flag for inclusion and visibility. But now there are so many more models out there on the covers. I mean, there are still a lot of companies lagging who don't do any form of representation whatsoever.
There's some companies that do it really well, and some that they'll have the odd one, and some that still aren't really doing it.
Yes, and some do it occasionally and then forget about us, and it's like, checklist, whether it's us or not. But I think it's the general change within recognition by communities or PR that they're representing all people, not just tall, thin, white models.
Are there any patterns that were popular at the start in 2018 that are just as popular now?
Yes. That was interesting because I put a question into our stories. What are the top 10 patterns that you would consider that we've seen over the last 6 years? And I got, I think, 120 responses. So I was a little bit busy behind the scenes answering all those wonderful suggestions. So thank you to the people who do respond in stories, because it was really, really helpful. There were patterns there that I hadn't thought about for a few years. What I did notice was there was a trend of jumpsuits. So I'm going to talk about trends. There's a trend of jumpsuits, and of course the one that stands out is the Zadie jumpsuit, but there were an awful lot more and they're still evolving. So that's still about. Chore jackets. Now, there's a plethora of patterns out there, but that trend is still ongoing. And I think, such a useful garment, the chore jacket. You've got the transitional seasons, so that's great. Then the next thing that came along were the balloon pants, whether they were fitted or elasticated. That's been a trend over probably the last 18 months, 2 years, because you've got the bob pants that took everyone by storm, and then it's evolved into probably more fitted, but they are definitely still raging at the moment. When it comes to dresses, it was the hinterland dress that is actually up there in the big numbers, and the wilder gown. So 2 dresses out there that stand out. So once a trend sort of begins, we notice, that other people come on board, and I'd be loath to pick out a chore jacket, but there are lots of chore jackets out there.
What issues do we still face?
Visibility is still something we need to keep pushing for. It is a lot better, but we still have to keep on pushing for it with pattern companies and giving them a little nudge now and again.
Besides the Instagram issues, I'd say one of the issues we face by the general media pattern companies is about positively aging. I mean, how we are viewed as we age. And sometimes we have got to stop that pigeonholing. And our followers throw back that all the time. They're out there in their balloon pants and bathers and all that sort of thing. And you wonder if companies think, what do they really think about aging? There's a lot of big celebrities pushing back about aging now. But the other thing that I think that we have to do is normalise aging. We're not perfect.
Yeah.
I would hate to be growing up today with being in your 20s and seeking out Botox and all that sort of stuff. I think as a SewOver50 community, I think we do really well in representing what normal aging is all about, and how vibrant, vital and enthusiastic and engaged you can be, and still up to date, and sewing clothes for yourself that has meaning for you.
And doing that boosts your confidence in being happy, with aging well, because you can represent yourself in the way you want to.
I think you go through a stage as you get older. Sometimes you lose your confidence. And I think by sewing the clothes that represent you, it gives you that confidence to go out.
Yeah.
You're not pigeonholed by the ready-to-wear clothes that probably don't fit anyway. Being able to dress how you like is one of our superpowers.
If you look at the hashtag, and all of us posing for photos, taking photographs of ourselves, putting it out there, there's confidence there. And there's also, I'm not bothered what anybody else thinks. This is what I want to wear. I'm not bothered what people think of me. Taking a photograph of myself and putting it on Instagram. I'm doing it because I want to. We wear what we want and all those things.
And so many followers say, I hate taking photos, but I like seeing people in photos. So I'm going to do this too. And that's really heartening, isn't it, that they have that confidence to join in.
Yeah.
When we did start, Judith, we didn't have a lot of people modelling their clothes. They were on their mannequins. So you don't see a lot of that now. Those people who are shy, good on you for even, joining in and engaging. We'll take you as you come. We just want you to be part of the community.
And there's some people who, for their job, don't want to show their face.
Yeah.
But the other thing I like is the humour as well, that people, the style, but also the humour that people put, with funny photos and have fun. We all need to have some fun, don't we?
There's some funny ones that come through, and we pop those into stories or even a post, and it's quite hilarious.
The other issue that I've found is the connection between people, no matter where you live.
Yeah.
And I know that it's been said before that a lot of people who sew are introverts. Connecting through SewOver50 is a safe space to be in, as well as you age. If I go back to the whole age representation, there is a change in your life where you lose people in your life, and this way you are still connected and still part of the community. So that's what I really appreciate about the account.
That's one of the studies I put up in stories. What is the prime indicator for a long life? And that had exercise, diet. But one of the main reasons for positive aging and a longer life is actually social engagement. And they actually said that it didn't have to be face-to-face. Even someone engaging on something like Instagram or someone responding to them on Facebook. That little flicker of a connection is something that will keep people going, and it's not running and eating lettuce leaves. It's actually that engagement. So it doesn't have to be face-to-face.
The online thing can help people who can't get out very easily for whatever reason, or living isolated lives. And these connections, you're right, Maria, they're so important.
And how many of us have friends who don't sew?
Yeah.
It's getting that passion or meeting up with people who have that passion and you just talk sewing the whole time. It's wonderful. Finding your own community with your passion is wonderful. Within the SewOver50 community, I think so many of people have connected online, but also what really always a surprise, Judith and I, when they meet up in real life and they pop up anywhere, like sewing camps in Florida. It's really fabulous to see. I'm always really excited and actually was jealous. I wish I was there.
I love to see that.
Is technology holding older sewers back from being visible?
I think you two are helping with that. When people are new to Instagram, they probably are held back, but there are ways and means, aren't there? And I'm sure you can talk about that, Sandy.
It's a difficult one because we're trying to build up skills on Instagram. We've done Instagram tips for a long, long time. And that started when Judith and I were telling each other, you can do this, you can do that. So I remember saying to Judith, if we're asking these questions, other people will be asking the same questions.
Yeah.
We have to think positively about we're not being alone in this. I know Maria's little instant videos, 1 minute long, are going to assist greatly. I think people probably may be a little bit worried, but once they start, they're okay. It's just dipping your toes into the water first and just learning a little bit by little bit. You're not going to get it all at once.
And then they keep changing things as well.
But I think once you've got a solid base in the knowledge of what Instagram's about, the little changes are just like a nuisance now. Don't think that technology is holding people back now. Even if people are on Instagram and just look at us and see what's going on, I think that's great. I don't think we can measure it in numbers. I know we're 50,000 followers. There's a lot more looking than probably those who engage. And I think sometimes it might be lack of confidence, but they're there.
Yeah.
We've recently had feedback from our followers. They still are not confident to post and they're happy just to look, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Find your comfort zone because you're still there. You're still seeing new patterns come out, seeing what people are doing, being inspired. So, good on them.
Yeah.
Any last minute thoughts about the celebrations this week for SewOver50's 6th birthday?
We started our celebrations on Tuesday with a history post of SewOver50. So if people have joined us after 2018, you may be interested to find out how Judith came about starting SewOver50 and when I came on board, her little sidekick just a little while later, and the ride that we've had over the 6 years. And it's interesting, we've done over 1,800 posts, 30 lives and 18 challenges, and we've had 144 guest editors. We always love our guest editors because they bring such a different perspective to the account.
Great.
We've had the 18 challenges. We had some really fun ones, mini challenges. And we haven't done them for a while, but I really like the mini challenges where you just throw something out for the weekend. Could I mention a few, Maria?
Yeah, of course you can.
Probably the biggest one we had was the sustainable sewing one that Judith organised. And that was probably about 2021.
Yeah.
That was huge. Yeah. That was a really, really big one. And people really engaged with that. So that was excellent. And then we had some milestone ones. It was this SewOver50 old photo and people brought out old photos. Oh my goodness, that was so good over the weekend. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
And so we shared photos of that. And then during 2020, when we just didn't know what was ahead of us and we were 6 weeks in and we were worried about whether we should even be posting, we actually went ahead with Isolation Headband. That was really fun. And so many new followers joined us then because everyone was doing much with their hair at that stage. The other one was SewOver50 Holiday and just posting, that was a mini challenge, posting themselves on location in an outfit. So we've had some great challenges over that time. And then on Thursday, we did the most popular patterns that we've seen over the 6 years.
Oh, yeah.
And we couldn't include them all, but I did ask in stories for ideas and so many memories came through with some of those most popular patterns. So if you haven't seen that post, then pop back and have a look at that. And then, of course, our competition started yesterday, which is Tell Us Your Sewing Label. And
that's a great idea.
We've had our editors give us their label that they'd like to have in the back of their garment. Looks like some really creative ones are coming through. So thanks to everyone who's joined in for that.
Very good. Another lovely mini.
A lot of the planning to get all this done was from Sandy, and a lot of research through Trish's. That particular post, she did a lot of work on that.
A lot of work.
Oh, a lot of work. When she presented the post to me, I thought, my goodness, how long have you spent on this? She trolled all the way down to the first post, so that's going through more than 1,800 posts down to the bottom. So, yeah, she's done a great job. Absolutely stellar.
Both of you have done a lot of work on this. Thank you very much.
Oh, it's been fun, actually. That's one thing I have to say, is that SewOver50 still brings me a lot of excitement.
Mm-hmm.
As much as it's hard work, and I sort of think, yes, I need to step back more, it still is a joy to be creative and writing posts and finding people, and then getting a lovely positive response back from people who are featured.
Yeah.
You know, people say, oh, you made my day, and that sort of thing. It's really nice. It's lovely, because
it's lovely.
We're dealing with real people out there who are sharing their garments and whatever they're making. So we're always very appreciative that they tag.
We've finished all the questions about the anniversary. Any last thoughts?
I'd just say again that it's incredible that the way the team have kept it going over the last year and a half, when it's just got so much harder because of Instagram making things harder. It's just incredible, all the work you all do in the team. And I'm sure the community really appreciate it. And they probably don't know the half of it, but they really appreciate that we're still here.
We would not have continued if we didn't have our new editors on board, because it was just becoming too much. It's still hard work at times. I really do think we do provide a service, like the dating agency that people talk about, where people meet up. And I think we do provide those connections. I think the day when SewOver50 does decide to step back, I think it's got such a good foundation within the sewing community that older sewers are recognised now. And I think, just onwards and upwards from here while we can.
Judith and Sandy, happy birthday to SewOver50.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for coming on the podcast. And I hope people do join in the label competition this weekend. You've still got time, everyone.
Thank you, Maria, for doing this and for putting it all together.
Thank you, Maria. It's always lovely catching up with you. And you too, Judith.
And you. Yeah, have a lovely day.
Have a good day. This episode of SewOver50 podcast on Sew Organised Style, to celebrate the 50,000 follower milestone and 6th birthday of SewOver50, was produced by me, Maria Theoharis, with permission of Judith Staley and Sandy Back. Sound by bensound.com. Many thanks for the ongoing support of the podcast Patreon contributors. On patreon.com/Sew Organised Style, you can support this podcast every month for the cost of a coffee. Their ongoing support enables me to develop this podcast for free. You can subscribe to Sew Organised Style podcast, but with an S, not a Z, on all good podcast apps. Make sure you go back and listen to our free SewOver50 podcast archive on Sew Organised Style podcast. If you would like to contribute to the many ongoing posts and challenges the team promotes on the SewOver50 account on Instagram, direct message Sandy and the editorial team. The SewOver50 community has over 50,000 followers. We look forward to joining you in your sewing room next time. Stay safe, everyone.